What's up, y'all? Sparty here, and I want to do a quick video on the things that I wish the LG G6 either retained or just had in general. Now, a lot of these things probably didn't make it to the G6 due to engineering difficulties or just making it a more streamlined phone for the average consumer. Now, while I don't agree with those things in particular, I still think it's fair to analyze this and talk about the things that I wish the LG G6 still retained and still had. Now, I'm not really going to number this. I'm going to just go off because I'm not necessarily sure how many things I want to still talk about, but it's the wish they still had. But the one thing I wish it still had was the removable battery. Now, a lot of people will say that, oh, well, it doesn't have a removable battery because it's water resistant, but the Samsung Galaxy S5 was water resistant and had a removable battery. Now, granted, it had sealed up ports. It didn't have the open ports and stuff that the G6 have, and the S7 and all the Sony phones since 2015 have had that are water resistant. But still, I do wish it still had a removable battery. And while it's not a deal breaker for me, because the phone has great battery life. There's nothing wrong about the battery life. I would just like to be able to top up within a minute or two, just removing the battery and putting it back in. Not really a minute, but maybe like 30, 45 seconds if you count the boot up process and stuff like that. Now, another thing I wish it had, and this is less of something that it doesn't have. It's just a preference. I wish the headphone jack was on the bottom. The S7 doesn't want to focus. Because as you guys can see, the G4 has a headphone jack on the bottom if the S7 wants to focus. See, and this is the thing with my minor gripe with the S7. It may focus fast, but it doesn't retain focus very well. Like, it keeps focusing on the G6 when I'm trying to focus on the frickin' G4. But whatever, you guys see it. The headphone jack's down here on the G4. It was on the bottom on the V10. It was on the top on the G6, which is weird. It's on the bottom right here on the V20. And it's more just convenience. I don't like having as much as I really don't listen to music and charge my phone often, but when I do, I normally tend to use my wireless headset, but when I want to use my Sennheisers or whatever, I prefer to plug it in the bottom of the phone because, you don't want... I probably hit the damn fingerprint scanner. You don't want one cord sticking up from the top and one from the bottom. That just looks weird. Okay, now you're just being weird. I probably double tapped the screen. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. And another thing while at the top of the phone I wish it had was the IR blaster. Okay, it keeps focusing on the G6. God damn it, man. Now it doesn't want to focus. Wow. Okay. So as you guys can see, I wish the G6 had an IR blaster. Now again, this is probably due to water resistance. And the sheer fact that since the IR port is, while not open, it might be a hindrance to water resistance at the same time. So I hope they bring it back with the next G series phone, unless it's just to make this a more average consumer phone. Which, if that's the case, then fine, cool. Other things I wish that the G6 had was overall being able to set your own set custom icon packs on here. Now, while LG doesn't have the best theming, the best themes on the Smart World and whatever, the one thing it does have over Samsung's launcher and HTC's launcher is that you could just go into the Play Store and you can't really do this on the V20 either due to the new launcher, but you go into the Play Store. I can look up app icon packs, and I got I didn't know that's what Retrorica installed already. I forgot what other icon packs I bought, but there's a few on here that you can look in the description of pretty much any icon pack, and it'll tell you which launchers it supports, and a lot of them do support LG's launcher. Like, I'm pretty sure this one does, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. Yeah, as you guys can see, it says LG Home right there, in between Epic and Aero Launcher. And it's essentially pretty easy. All you do is you press and hold the recent apps button, you go into theme. What the fuck? That's weird. Hold on, give me a minute. The G4 is showing a little bit of its age here. It's a 2-year-old phone. So, okay, that doesn't want to work for some reason. Let me do it the other way. I forgot how to do it. Home screen, theme. Okay, and it'll just be in here. As you guys can see, you got the regular LG theme. You got this right here. And all you pretty much got to do is you got to tap on it. And if the S7 will focus, you just hit apply in the lower right. It'll take a bit. Mainly on here because it's an older phone. But yeah, I'm going to just set it down here and just talk about the other thing that, and watch as soon as I pick this up and do it. The other thing I wish the LG G6 still retained as well is hiding the home touch buttons. Now, as you guys know, there's this thing in Android called Immersive mode. And that's essentially making it so that the soft keys go away in every app, so you have the full screen to your advantage, to your use and stuff like that. I don't know why it's not letting me focus, but as you guys can see, you go under home touch buttons. See, now it's randomly wanting to focus on its own. And say you download an app and it doesn't support immersive mode. My bad, the S7's acting really finicky right now. I don't know why. But say you download an app and it doesn't support immersive mode. You can just find that app, click that. So say Google Plus, for example, right? I'll open Google Plus right now. As you guys can see, shut up. And as you guys can see, the touch buttons are down here. You go back here and you scroll back down to Google Plus. God, why is this acting so weird? And you click that and it'll reload the app because it has to reload it without it. And as you guys can see, you get the full screen right here. And I wish the G6 still had that. because I valued that a lot, especially since a lot of games. Okay, the G4 isn't doing it. I don't know why. I think I already have it installed. Yeah, I already have it installed anyway. So what I'll do is I'll just show you guys what it looks like. It just looks like this. You get different looking icons. And it looks nice. And just as I said, you go through pretty much any app. A lot of icon packs support it. But just as I said, just make sure to go into the description of the app and it'll tell you if it supports it or not. Sometimes it won't support like newer version. It doesn't support the newer versions of the LG Home UX 5.0. I'm not sure if you go back to like the Home and App Drawer version if it'll support it then, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Another thing I wish it kind of still retained is laser autofocus. Now, don't get me wrong, focusing on this phone is actually really fast. It's really quick. And it stays locked on, unlike my S7 at the moment for some weird reason. But yeah, while I don't necessarily miss laser autofocus, it was just fun to say. And it was fun to use because it would be pretty quick. And don't get me wrong, the S7 is actually focusing real fast right now. But my issue is that it's not focusing and staying locked on. That's my only real issue with the S7 right now. But as far as this goes, I'm glad that the camera is flush. It's 13 megapixels as opposed to 16. I do kind of wish it was still 16. They could have made the phone a bit thicker in that case. Hell, even the G4 is not that much thinner than the G6, but the camera is pretty flush. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as this video. Now, as I've said, my S7 versus G6 video will come out soon. I keep saying that, but the thing is, I want to test the cameras a bit more because there are things that are like, there are things I just want to test more, like more low light shots, because I've only really have taken one low light shot, and I want to take more and see how consistent they both are in low light, as well as like, you know, lowly dim areas and stuff like that. I want to figure that out and see what it looks like in those situations as well. Sorry for snorting. My nose is running like shit. As I said, I'm still a bit sick. And I shouldn't really be up right now because I got to go to work in a couple hours. But, you know, it's whatever. I'll manage. But yeah. This has been Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. And, yeah, I will be back most likely with my G6 versus S7 video if I don't think of another like type of video I want to make on these phones. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and have a good one.